Hello Facebook friends, my name is Tony Dunn, and I'm coming to you in light of this social network to talk about an incident that I've gotten involved in and also my family has gotten involved in. And I want to first give honor to God, who is the head of my life, and I know that God gives me the strength to continue my journey in His namesake. I want to say to my Facebook friends and listeners that I appreciate those of you that have been looking at my page and have been looking at what I've printed on social network in the last few weeks about an incident that happened in front of my mother's house and end up with my son being charged with a crime and being trialed and found guilty of the crime. But the evidence that was shown in the courts showed that my son could not have been the killer. It is true my son got in a fight with a young man, and the young man ended up being killed. But it wasn't because of my son. It was a senseless accident that happened with someone that should not have had a gun in their hand at the time of this incident. All evidence that was shown in the courtroom shows that my son could not have done what he was accused of doing. First of all, the medical examiner got on the stand, I believe was the second witness on the stand after the victim's mother got on the stand, and indicated that the young man had got shot in his back. The young man and my son was arguing across the street from one another, face to face. For my son to be able to shoot this young man in his back and the bullet to come out of his front, I believe it was the front torso or the back torso that was shot where the bullet entered. Common sense would tell you that for my son to shoot this young man where he was shot, he had to be behind him. There was no one behind him but friends and cousins. My son was across the street from him. When the shot went off, the victim and 3 other young men ran towards the victim's house, and my son and myself walked casually back home to begin our journey to take him back where he lived, which was Daytona, Florida. The medical examiner was one of the main witnesses for the state and indicated that she was absolutely sure that the shot came from the back of the victim, not the front. I don't understand how, other than this trial was already trialed and convicted on April the 14th of 2013, when they printed, the News Journal printed an article 6 pages long saying that my son was all these things above. He was a felon on the run. He was a person that had pending charges. He was bunkered in a house. All these things they showed on the News Journal's paper on April the 14th. And we were supposed to pick a jury on April the 23rd or around about that time. The judge that listened to the case, he also commented on the article that was printed on my son. Mind you, my son's full facial was placed in the News Journal, on internet, on Delaware Online, on Google, all around. And they painted a picture of my son being this violent person. My son is not a violent person. My son has some mental issues, but he's not violent. And for the News Journal to do what they did, they only could get that information and permission from the state attorney general's office. The judge knew that he should have stepped down, because that is a bias position, and not only is it bias, it's also showing that the judge was being prejudiced against the defense. There's things that they did not print in the paper because they didn't want the public to know the truth. But here's the facts. Because of a person's past, it does not mean that they committed a crime that they were accused of. And the jury had already convicted him because of the violence that goes on in our communities. And the Afro-American community is the target of the news media. And I would urge you to not wait until it hits your front door to show your support. And I've asked on Facebook for my family and friends to give $1 or $2. It really is not a lot, but it means a lot when you think about it. Please, Facebook family and friends, help me help someone else. And it would greatly be appreciative. I thank you for listening. For more information, look on my Facebook page and look around the community. You will see flyers that will give you instructions on how you can be supportive of a young man that only wants to get help for his disability. No more, no less. I will be coming back to you in the future, if God willing. It is better to give than it is to receive. Love your neighbors like you would want to be loved. These are words from the one and only God. And we know that God is our supplier, and He will supply the needs of me and my son. God bless you. Thank you for listening. And may we come together as one to help one of our brothers in need. God bless you. Thank you.